Hey, peace. Welcome back. Secret House against facts. No, what are we against, guys? I don't know. Welcome back. We've been recording all afternoon. Appreciate these guys for coming out on a Sunday, but we're glad to get you guys this content. Tokyo-based hip-hop art and culture, album reviews in particular. I think we're going to branch out to some other shit maybe one of these days.
These guys got beers, highball, and I got 2 liters of water, so we're going to see how this goes.
Yeah, it's a Sunday. You know, it's a beautiful sunny day here in Tokyo. And today we are reviewing... I don't have my facts up. Today we are reviewing Namir Blade, Metropolis. Namir Blade is a rapper, producer, artist from Tennessee?
Yes.
From Nashville, Tennessee.
Yes. And the influences are so there.
Purdue.
From everything. Like, yeah, it was definitely like, where's this guy from? I had to look it up. I'm like, yeah, it's Tennessee. However, I think he's kind of trying to freak it a little bit with his, you know what, we're not to that part yet. Let me calm down.
Okay. I got him playing in the background. Maybe it's too loud. Let me go put on some double A beats.
Check out Double A's new album, Closed Eyes Can't See the Vision. He's rapping on that one.
Is that him rapping?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Hey, that's what's up. But yeah, man, thank you guys. Here goes so for Namir Blade, I want to say that I found out about him because I follow Mellow Music Group on YouTube, and maybe the first time I listened to him was his collaborative album with L'Orange. It's L'Orange? Is that how it's supposed to be pronounced?
I assume so.
Yeah, I've only heard it I've only ever read it. So L'Orange, and I thought that was okay, but to be honest with you, I'm not quite a huge fan of. I'm not a huge fan of L'Orange's like sound palette. What? And I thought it was a fine album, but it wasn't one that I really loved. And I haven't gone and checked out much more Namir Blade other than that. This is probably the album of his. This is definitely the album of his that I listened to the most, because we were supposed to record this shit like 3 weeks ago, and so I've listened to this motherfucker like 8 or 9 times at this point, because I like to do that. But yeah, kind of a new fan of his. I don't know much about him other than that what I've just said. How about you?
Same thing. This is my first dive into it. However, when I listened to the rhyme scheme, I'm like, oh yeah, he's definitely South. However, it's a Southern guy, but we ain't got to that part yet. I'm sorry. This is my first time.
You jumped the gun twice. Both times we let him speak, he really want to get into it. I'm glad you do. What about you, Jet?
I mean, I also found out about him through Mellow Music Group. I'm in their mailing list. Never unsubscribed for some reason, because I like Mellow Music Group.
They're great.
Since like I bought an Apollo Brown record like a decade ago, I've been getting emails from them.
You right.
And then I found out through the L'Orange collab, because I like L'Orange, and I was a big fan of the stuff that he was doing with Jeremiah J, who was on Brain Feeder at the time.
What the fuck happened to Jeremiah J?
I guess he's still around. I guess he's still. I haven't seen what he's been releasing or anything. But Jeremiah J was a very early influence of mine, because he's got that weird off kilter Brain Feeder thing going on. But he's a little more street. He's a little more like.
Yeah, he got some really dope Toxic track about getting bitches and shit.
And like guns and stuff like that. And like his album Raw Money Raps was definitely like an early influence of what I did. So
I've been listening to him in a long time. I'm going to listen to him today.
I saw him live like maybe 11 years ago.
We're out in London?
And out in London. He was like showing us love, because like all these like hipster chicks from like Australia or whatever were just kind of standing around taking selfies, and we were just going absolutely crazy at the front, just fucking headbanging and shit.
You got to do that sometimes.
So yeah, that's how I got into Namir Blade, through the collab with L'Orange. And yeah, I'm not going to go too deep into the criticism straight off the bat, although I guess we can get into it now. But it's interesting to see like such a nerdy track list, you know, like so many like. Mande Michiru is, Japanese singer, collaborated a lot with a friend of mine, Shinichi Osawa, legend of the game, Mondo Grosso.
Mephisto,
Shonen, Ontrederd, which is
that was a play on Memphis.
Dutch. It's Dutch for like overwhelmed or devastated, something like that. Guts versus Griffith, Berserk. He samples Berserk on that track as well. Like Guts' theme from Berserk gets sampled there.
Is Metropolis named after the anime too, you think? Or
like the old movie, like the black and white film based on Asimov, I believe. Cruising USA is also the worst video game series that has managed to go on for another 30 years somehow.
I used to play that in the arcade.
I thought maybe the cover was AI generated. Like, it looks the album. I mean, obviously they've done some photoshopping. The Namir Blade. There's the katakana as well that says like Seraninchi. Seraninchi. I don't know what that is, but maybe Serasonichi. So Seraninchi. Anyway. I thought maybe it was something done by like an open AI thing. That's a set. It doesn't matter. But
it looks dope.
It looks cool. Yeah.
It is very, like Blade Runner anime, futuristic, maybe dystopian, which I think kind of resonates with some of the themes in the album. He seems to be critiquing various aspects about society and late stage capitalism.
And I was going to say that given how like just overall, like, he's got the sci-fi cover and all these references to like nerd culture, like this guy's hard. Like, this guy goes pretty hard. He doesn't sound like a dork on his tracks. I was worried this was going to be some nerdcore shit when I first saw that title track, like the title and all the track list, but he's pretty hard. It's an interesting
kind of like combinations. Like, I've never heard anybody talking about rolling up a Mononoke forest in a blunt. You know what I mean? So that's like, my man is watching like my favorite Ghibli film, but also still talking about rolling blunts. And it's interesting. Like, some of the songs, it's like, there's songs on this album about like pushing a bucket. You know what I mean? There's songs that, like Ride is a really great concept track, which I'm certain has been done before, but I really like his approach on it. It's like he's talking about like some street shit, but not from the perspective of like a hustler that is already projecting this bouginess of having more money than what he's got, but he's also, still kind of talking about grinding and waking up early and doing his thing and getting ready, but also respect to the bucket. You know what I mean? Like, my first car was a 1984 Chevy Cavalier, and that motherfucker had power windows, and for an 84, nice.
89 Toyota Corolla.
Hey,
that jump probably still rolling.
I also had a sunroof too. It wasn't like a power window type of joint. You got lift that shit up. but like I know what it is to like have a bucket, and I really appreciate it. He seems to be like a man of his era. I imagine he's a little younger than us, maybe around your age, where he has all these.
He says he's 29 on the album.
Yeah. He's got all these influences, right, of anime, of street culture, of Tennessee rappers, and all of these things, and he kind of just wears all of them on his sleeve. The sci-fi, the mainstream, and all of it comes across in his music.
And it wears you down to a point. Like, look, I like the album. I didn't think the album was bad.
Did you just go, anyway? Yes. I like that.
But I think, one critique, if it is a critique, is, dude, don't make your own beats so much, because your beats all sound alike. It follows the same format, and you leaned on the switch up way too damn much in these tracks to try to make them interesting. Because honestly, your first sequences weren't that great. They weren't. Like, your sequences were boring, and you try to straddle this line between like Southern hip hop sensibilities and East Coast, and trying to like mesh it all together, but you failed. I think, in my personal opinion, like, I'm just listening to every track and it's all the same.
I think the album definitely comes into its own in the second half.
The second half is better.
When it gets a lot weirder and more experimental, he's kind of
that more.
From about Shonen onwards.
Yeah.
And then especially when you get to like Entredeur and Guts versus Griffith, and he gets ambient in places. Agree. A lot of there's a whole on Deep. There's the whole just spoken interlude, but it sets the tone really well. I kind of wish the whole album.
I like that shit. Picture us, you probably fallen off of the deep end.
I think that's
on a weekend.
And that's why I say you need to get different producers. Like, I really feel like because you produce your whole album yourself, you lean towards the same beats, and that kind of like robbed us of getting more experimental and more like in-depth lyrics.
It's a pretty long record as well.
It is.
It just clocks in just under an hour.
Could have did some trimming on this one too.
I do understand what you're saying, where the switch up is like a theme of the album, and I don't know if it's like intentionally.
That's a Memphis thing. That's a Tennessee thing. Okay. Like, we switch it up, and even in my production, like on El Spadia 2, now streaming on Spotify.
Over 100,000 listeners, bro.
Yes, really, over 100,000. Check it out. But I also do switch ups too, but I don't lean on that. I think your production, where it's not bad, it needs some refining, because some of these intros are way too long too, and just droning, and I'm just like, dude, what are you doing? Give me the meat.
Kind of liked how he took his time with a lot of the intros, like, the especially going into that second half of the album. he really takes his time to like draw a very clear divide, I think, between the harder, more southern oriented stuff and then the more kind of electronic ambient kind of stuff that you see prevalent in the second half.
Okay.
I see exactly what both of you guys are saying. I feel a way about some of the beat switches, and I feel like to your point, he leans into a lot of like musical tropes that I'm sure are his influences, but it also at times it sounds like, oh, he's aping Drake here. He's trying to do a Drake thing. This is
one of the
Stove God
worst things I can say about the album, and this goes for a lot of music, a lot of hip hop I like, is don't remind me of better songs when you're making a song.
Yes.
So like paraphrasing 2 words by Kanye West or using the honey
I
from
hate
Bound 2.
that part of it.
There's another one as well.
Can I say one more thing? I really hate what that Bound 2 sample does to that song, because I like it except for that, and it ruins the whole thing for me.
Agree.
But I feel like the Kanye songs that get referenced on here, I think there was a Kendrick on there as well, Kendrick shout out at one point, are all better tracks than the ones we're listening to.
They were.
And I would even rather listen to Monday Michiru's best stuff than the song Monday Michiru. But, I guess that's not really a criticism of the song so much as just like, hey, I just feel like I could be listening to those instead.
I was kind of thinking like the song Cain and Abel, right? I thought maybe that's like a Rosetta Stone to his approach on the album. Like he's got these 2 different parts of him that he keeps on switching back and forth between, because most of the songs have 2 beat switch, it's essentially 2 tracks smashed together, and some of them work better than others.
Transitions are terrible on some of them, though.
Yeah,
just terrible.
I also in particular don't like a lot of some of the southern beats on this, because I've heard them sound better in other places.
Way better.
And also that's just my musical temperament. But I felt like he was trying to show us 2 parts of himself. To his credit, he produced every single song on this album, and there is a larger variety than Southern Trap, East Coast Underground. He's got like some type of Chicago juke joints. Like he's got a few different approaches, and I love an artist who is an all-in-one type of person.
But compared to a Red Veil, right, who did his whole album too.
Sure.
But it was done better, because I felt like on the Red Veil album first there's 2 different producing types. Red Veil actually has to be like classically trained on how to play piano, the way he put these beats together. And with this album, I just felt like not much thought went into the construction of these beats.
I'm with you on the chord progressions on the synth-oriented beats aren't very interesting.
No.
Especially, if you compare it to a lot of his influences, like if you listen to Flashing Lights by Kanye West, it's got a very, very well considered chord progression. Where some of these, they're kind of like, 1-5-4, like, oh, okay, yep, this is where this is going.
Right.
But I honestly, I think the production on this is pretty solid from start to finish. I'm a fan of the whole thing. I think there is a degree of finesse and expertise behind some of these beats. I don't want to I don't want to bog it down in the Red Veil comparison, because I don't think they sound anything alike.
Nothing
but
alike.
Whereas Red Veil is like brilliant, but there's moments of scruffiness or looseness on those albums. I felt like all of this was pretty well considered, and done with a degree of technical competence that comes with age and experience.
My Spade complaints, I'm right there with you on the first half of the album. The second half, I think it realized itself a little better. It gets a little bit more abstract, more experimental.
It feels more like a Metropolis.
It feels more like him too,
Yeah.
instead of other people, and that's what I like.
And let me get into what I do like. I think I just hopped on to what I didn't like, and I stayed on that. Let me say, this album is good. It's a good album. It's a good album. I do think it sounds like an old Project Pat, 3 6 Mafia. There's a lot of Southern influences
listen to this shit
in there.
Oh, this is a beat change. I like this beat switch though. But
once again,
as soon as I put it on, it go beat switch on me. But yeah,
I think like you can hear the Southern sensibility in the way he came from, and I think his rhyme schemes are actually good. His cadence, his flow reminds me a lot of like Tennessee rappers. Like All Star is in there. A lot of like Tommy Wright III is in there. So it's a lot of those influences in there, and the beats try to like branch out to grab people who are not into the Southern thing. Mm-hmm. So I think you're straddling that line very well. I just think your beats need to be a little more interesting, but your album was good.
The Cruisin' USA beat sounds like some shit that Odyssey would make. It sounds like
that's
really
my favorite
vibrant
beat on
and,
the album.
Yeah, it sounds different than almost anything else on it. But what is the one number 12 with the weird? You said it was like a
Entre deux. Yeah,
Entre deux. I don't. the Dutch name. That shit is very interesting too. It's just a beat interlude, but it reminds you, and you're like this odd space, and that's kind of right where I start to feel like, oh, okay, now I'm really getting some
more,
other shit from him, and like I like some of the features on this. I don't know who the fuck anybody is on this album.
Didn't either, yeah, but the features did it well.
This track right here, Shonen.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's Jordan Webb or Cashmere Crew, but he's black father, black daughter, Browns be watching, Feds be watching, God be watching. Like, that shit is hard to me. I was like, oh, my rocket. Like, I don't even know what's going on, but I'm like, yo, like, this album, it's like so much shit that I've heard before, but it's also unlike so much shit that I like. I've never heard things exactly like this. And I think that this is like, he's an interesting artist to me because like he's like capable in everything, rapping, producing, writing a concept track. I think that this is the first look for me, because I didn't really care for the Lauren shit or the Aphelions. Yeah. I listened to that too, and I didn't get much out of it. But this kind of feels like he's coming into himself, and I didn't really get it until towards the end of the album. And I do like it. I do like
way
it.
better.
The aphelion is the furthest point from the sun in an orbit.
Okay.
There you go.
I did not know that.
The perihelion is the closest.
Right.
Man, Professor Jet out here. I hear you.
I mean, I know some big words and shit. You want to talk about the apogee, perigee? You know what I mean? Perigee? Is that it?
Perigee. Yeah.
I don't know. I've
Apogee,
only
real
ever
good
read
Japanese band too.
Oh yeah, they are ill. They're fucking good. Yeah. But yeah, man. Like some of these songs are very catchy to me. Some of them, I really, like, there's something about the formula for trap beats that always makes me feel as though they can be disposable. It reminds me of like in the 2000s where people were making those auto-tune tracks off of viral videos, and they all sound fine and serviceable, but when it gets down to it, it's just a formula that's kind of like corny. And some of his trap beats have no personality to me. They sound a little bit like, let me try my Project Pat. Let me try my this guy.
Yes.
Let me try that. And that's where I get bogged down on the album. I might be listening to the shit and be like, oh, this is weird, abstract, experimental, not exactly like a Stove God or any Coke rapper. It's interesting. And then I get a trap beat that just sounds like you type in trap beat into YouTube and you find 1,000 of these. And there's not much personality in some of the things he's aping. Mm-hmm. There's some Drake style flows on this. I didn't write down exactly. There's some Stove God style sing-songy shit on this to me that I hear it and I automatically relate it to those artists, and it loses his identity.
That's my critique. Yeah, right there. You said it perfectly. I can't say it any better than that. And I feel like that the man needs to refine it a little bit much, because you're there, but basically what you just said.
Black father, da. God be watching, Spade be watching on my rocket. I like that shit, man. The problem with the switch ups, right, is because when you have a track that changes up that much, there's a lot of possibility for you to like one part of it and dislike the other part of it and not go back to it because you got to deal with one half of it. It's like having an intro to a song. It's like 90-second intro where fucking, I don't know, Papa Wu is talking and you love the last half, but you don't play it because you got to wait 90 seconds for this motherfucker to get finished talking about, I don't know, whatever.
Not to lean too much into comparisons though, but like somebody who does this, somebody who does this well is Crit, right? Crit does his own production. And he doesn't get lost in the tropes, and he still manages to be himself. And I feel like Mr. Blade, you can get there. You just need to refine it. And this is my opinion from a dude in Japan who makes beats and raps and does his own productions himself.
I don't think
and also did a commercial for Pokemon. So yeah, whatever.
And the Darling in the Franxx soundtrack.
Darling in the Franxx soundtrack. Just did a Netflix soundtrack too. But whatever. I ain't nobody. Don't take my opinion. It's gospel.
The only thing with Crit is that, and I love Crit. I'm a big fan of Crit. And I think he's a great producer, but he's not that weird. And I think Namir Blade is at his. Very weird, I think when Namir Blade is at his very best, he's being weird.
He should lean into that more.
And I think he should lean more into his experimental weird side of things. Maybe I've got to listen to some of the older stuff more. Maybe he does that more on Aphelion, just Traveling Circus, and then the stuff that's come before. But I think that, you know, when he's at his weirdest and he's at his most introspective and his most kind of, you know, he takes his time with things and he's got like a lot of electronic elements and synthesized elements going on, it's more interesting than when he's just like auto-tune singing over trap beats.
Yeah. I mean, Crit's never said like dark villain, y'all Krillin. You know what I mean? Fall for anything, fall for any change.
Get it? Yeah.
Bro, a lot of this shit is just like this. You know what I like about Namir Blade, especially, he feels like a homie. He feels like somebody who is a real person. I know, like, we listen to compare it to Danielson only just by personality types. Danielson sounds like a character. Namir Blade sounds like a motherfucker that I sit with, who would punch you in the face if you come off wrong, but is also going to geek out because he watched the newest episode
Naruto
of fucking, you know what I mean? Like, I know cats like that. I know weird cats. I know skateboard cats. And I know cats who are weird as fuck, but lean into trap. You know what I mean? Because that's their neighborhood. That's where they from. That's what their dad plays in the car taking them to school when they're in the 3rd grade. And I like Namir Blade. I like his kind of homegrown, down to earth. I'm hard too. I'm trappy too. I'm about, you know, all this shit too.
But I also have strong opinions on which girl is best in Evangelion.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And it's like
it's Misato, by the way. No contest.
You know, he got a song like "We Don't Go Into the VIP, We Outside." Y'all know I'm a Konbini cat. I'm not trying to go into the club. Yeah, I'm outside in front of the convenience store. For you motherfuckers that don't know, we can drink on the streets here in Tokyo. I'm the outside guy. I'm not in the VIP. I'm with Namir Blade in a 1990 bucket trying to roll up some Mononoke.
I'm on the inside when I'm working. Dead ass. But yeah, should we rate this now?
Yeah.
I'll go ahead and start it off then.
Yeah, go ahead.
Mr. Blade, I thought you had a good album.
Wait. I have a question. He asked a question. Well, he made a statement here. He says he doesn't see how niggas wake up ashy.
Oh, yeah. It's lack of water.
Personal hygiene is important.
Yeah.
I can see how it happens.
Get some lotion.
Sometimes I take a shower at night when I get home and I just crash and I don't put on the lotion.
On.
I wake up ashy all the time, dog. Like, I mean, don't judge me.
You got to drink more water, too, man.
Can't be sleeping under the aircon.
Can I just live my life, bro?
Can't sleep under the aircon.
Come on, man. Don't judge me. Yeah, I'll be waking up looking reptilian.
Sorry, go ahead, Spade.
Yeah.
Now, it's an album for me. If I had to give it a numeric rating, probably around 6.5. But it's an album. It's a well done album that the kind of flaws stick out, but it's not worth listening to. I think the next projects are going to be better than this one. So just album for me.
If this album was 35 minutes long and just the parts I liked, I'd give it an 8.
I kind of agree with that too. Could have did some trimming.
But I'm gonna give it a 7. I'm gonna give it a decent 7. I feel like that's where I'm at with it right now.
I'm gonna give this the greatest album ever, rating with like a low 7, high 6. I think that the best that I can say about this album is that I like what Namir Blade does. I'm looking forward to him improving. I feel like he's blossoming into a stronger artist with each release. And this is a cat that I would kick it with.
Me too.
I like Namir Blade. I like his
Tennessee.
music.
Me too. I'm from
You know what I
Tennessee,
mean?
bro. M-Town.
So yeah, I don't have many Tennessee homies. It's like Spade and Spade, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I like Namir Blade, man. I rock with this album.
Hit us up when you're out here. I'll introduce you to Monday Michiru.
Yeah, hit us up when you're out here, and I'll take you to Mandarake or some shit.
Get one of my tracks, man. I got you. Like, seriously.
Yeah, man. No doubt. Oh, I can bring him to Arthel's spot, the first black anime studio in
You
Japan.
take me there, man. I'm trying to go there too.
You don't know Arthel?
You know, the circle of all the black people I know here, and I know some like great black people. That's the one I have not met yet.
Oh shit, yeah. I should get Arthel to come. I should have got him for this review. Hey, Arthel, come through. Talk about the anime cover and shit. Yeah. Yeah, but straight up and down, man. Secret House Against the World, the best review channel on YouTube. I think we're going to take that title.
Let's go.
We're the best review channel on Tokyo.
The best music.
Not reviews, but the best album conversations for independent underground hip hop on YouTube. We don't got the production value of some of those other cats. But yeah, we got the politics.
We the best music channel.
Yeah.
Have you seen dude DJ?
DJ L Spade.
Khaled. Have you seen him DJ?
Oh no, does he DJ anymore?
Yeah, I mean, I saw one.
And he's like scratching and he's just doing things.
Stuff. Yeah, I'm like, bruh.
I hope to get some point in my life where the things that people associate me with, I don't have to do anymore. I just pretended that I do them. So eventually I'm going to get to a point where it's like, yo, Mega does album reviews and I'm just sitting here.
Everybody else do the reviews for you.
How does he feel? Yeah, you just got to project into
It's
the idea.
Best Mega review ever. Who reviewed it? Oh, some young dude over there.
I'm just eating a bunch of like wings and shit, like fucking no wet naps. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's my plan.
I'm just reading the Pitchfork review off an iPad.
Right. Yeah. No, I just got an audio version of fucking somebody else's review, and I'm just moving my mouth. Yeah. I thought about it a lot.
Secret house.
Yeah, secret house against the hoes. I'm still toxic as hell, apparently.
Secret house.